let's talk about Jesus' death and his resurrection. What's the evidence from the traditional view that basically is going against this?
I think the most troubling thing about the death of Jesus in the Tabor book, now you said he's very clear that Jesus died on the cross and death by crucifixion. You don't get away from this, and we're sure. And he's right in mainline theology with that kind of conclusion. Virtually no one raises questions about that today. But his point, he takes a theme that was almost never voiced in 200 years of theology. And the idea is the pre-crucifixion Jesus has such an exciting, magnetic personality and is so good at rallying the troops. And then, of course, what he adds is he passes the baton. And so that when he dies, throws himself on the wheel, so to speak, in Schweitzerian fashion, reviving that theme of Schweitzer, to whom I believe the book is dedicated, to the memory of Albert Schweitzer. As he throws himself on this wheel, almost as if to force God's hand to bring in the kingdom, not in a political sense, but in a religious sense, and thereby overthrowing the Romans. It's an alluring kind of tale until you find out that somehow you need to get these guys past some pretty heavy despair, depression, despondency on what's called Holy Saturday, because if he's their best friend, they've been following him for years. He's the one indeed who they kind of secretly hope is going to overthrow the Romans and put them on the right and left side in key positions. And then in the Gospels, he says several times, "I'm going to die," and they're like, "Yeah, right, you're going to die. We're here, we're your bodyguards." And then all of a sudden, he does die. What's this for me and my family and my kids and the kingdom and the psychologically? I mean, leave out the Gospels if you want to. Psychologically, you can't explain this without kind of hitting rock bottom. And Mary, who moves the body, is going to rally the troops. She's the one who knows where the body is, but she's going to rally the troops. If you want a technical footnote here, Rudolf Pesch made a thesis like this in the early 70s, and he said the pre-crucifixion Jesus gives us enough impetus to explain the history of the church, and he was jumped on. It's a huge discussion in the German literature, and Stuhlmacher and Hengel and some really big names jump all over him, and Pesch sort of repents and changes his theory, and he says, "You guys are right. You cannot have the church without a resurrection," and he postulates appearances. I think that's what's missing in the Tabor thesis. Now, I should add, he does postulate Paul's spiritual appearance, but Paul's like the guy who comes lately and who confuses Christianity.
All right, we're going to